What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of Unscripted. You know how it is. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's one of my favorite days of the week as we have fun, as we do, as always, every single week, ladies and gentlemen, with the hottest names in professional wrestling. This week is no different. He is the eyewitness of the most table bumps in WWE history. He is the former WWE Spanish announced team member, Hugo Savinovich. How are you tonight, sir?
Por poquito. Doing good, my man. And thank you for the invitation. And let's get real with our wrestling world.
Absolutely. Before we get to that, man, let the listeners know what you're up to these days.
Okay. I just finished doing 2 more tapings. I'm also a pastor and evangelist and apostle. I got ministries
in
Bolivia and Dominican Republic, Central America. So 20% of all the money that I make goes into all of that. Nice. I am one of the sponsors of the International Female Prisoners in the Republic of Panama. I went to preach there and I saw the way they lived and I said, something's got to be done. And I help ministries, hospital in the mountains of Honduras, a place where they feed the kids. It's called Comedor Kennedy in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We got orphanages and we got young kids also all around South America. So that's my main gig. I use my page, Lucha Libre Online, to do lives. And I just had Carlito Caribbean Cool about 2 hours ago. And we talk about wrestling, but also a good message about to get our people off drugs and all of that stuff. Not religious, but just keeping it real. And I'm helping Conan recently for the last 8 months in the creative part. He's our creative boss in AAA. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing play-by-play with them. We kicked butt in the last Triple Mania. We had a really good show where Kenny Omega defended the Mega title against the Laredo Kid. And I took a guitar shot in the hardcore match, hair versus hair, Chessman against Pagano, which the story within a story was that Pagano recovered himself from hard drugs and liquor. So It was not just the main event of Triple Mania, it was also recovering the life of Pagano. So that's what keeps me going, and that's what I do, and I'm still passionate about doing the play-by-play and the creative part and helping new small companies in Mexico, Lucha Madre. One of my girls, Carissa Rivera, today was announced officially by WWE that she signed with them. She was my champion on my shows.
Nice.
And, that was one of my projects, and I'm working on Lucha Madre, a small group, helping legends also in Mexico, and I'm pushing for the career of one beautiful, beautiful girl that has been in the business for over 8 years, but for some reason, not AAA, not Consejo Mundial, have given her a shot. So I'm working on her. Her name is Diosa Quetzal. Tell your viewers to please check her out on YouTube. Diosa Quetzal, that's my latest project. She could wrestle. She does fantastic stuff, and she could do everything. I mean, she is fantastic, and I'm just helping her with that. And that's it. And doing the lives, and very upset about the creative stuff that is happening today. It makes me sick to see how much talent we have and how much is being wasted by silly creative ideas.
Wasted. Amen to that, my man. All right, let's get into the questions. Ablash is asking, hi, sir. I always wanted to ask whether you had a backstage talk with Hogan after he busted you open during WrestleMania 19 match with Vince. That shot was very brutal.
Yes, and it was those real hard chairs from old school. And if you look at it, you will see that there's no hand protection. And Hulk told me, the Hulkster is going to let you have it. You got to protect yourself. And I said, I'm old school. I did wrestling. I did 20 years in the ring. And I was like the heel and baby face, and had all this, stuff happen to me. And one time a chair went right through the ear, and the eye almost popped out. Almost every bone, my hands, my wrist. I'm old school. So when it was a top secret, very few people knew about it. And I said, just let me have it. And that night, the Hulkster made me a believer of Hulkamania, because he swung for the fences. It was a Hulk hump run, and he turned my eyes upside down. And it was like when your body wants to stay up and your knees say, goodbye, I see you. And that's what happened. But it was such a good feeling, because the boys didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. I remember Stone Cold saying to me afterwards, I was selling book. Booker T was selling book. He was in the way. And then when they saw the chair shot, and then the blood, and my friend doing a beautiful play-by-play call in Spanish, Carlos Carrera, then, it all came to senses that it was the right thing to do. Nothing beats the real life story when it's translated into our business, and it's done, with gusto, with the right attitude. And it was the creator of Hulkamania that felt betrayed by a real life friend, Hulk, and who went against him with a federal justice, a federal law of the United States. And finally, it was the episode that you never thought coming. The creator of Hulk Hogan, Mr. McMahon against Hulk Hogan, blood and everything.
Yeah.
And they gave each other some solid shots. So yeah. I miss those times, because I believe that our guys and girls could do it. And we do this in Mexico. As a matter of fact, now we do a hybrid, and where there's more punches in, and there's more submission holds, and just trying to give the people more of a feel. And that's what happened on that chair shot. And boy, it's a difference between somebody hitting you today and you putting your hands up, as back then, WrestleMania 19, a heavy, real chair with Hulk Hogan and his pythons, letting me have it. Boom. And like I said, my knees just buckled, and it was good night. And I still love it, because it was just part of a real story. That's why I've been complaining years now that Vince is letting a good story go away with CM Punk and his wife. I mean, you cannot beat that story. The bad boss firing them on their honeymoon night. I mean, there's stuff to create a beautiful story there that was legit. And you could go like a year and a half with the destruction of the McMahons by CM Punk and his wife. And I've been after that story, and it seems that they still want to do wedding stories and crazy shots and burning monsters, and I don't know. I guess when you have the money and the power they have, I guess you can afford to do things like that.
Yeah, and put not much effort in it, unfortunately.
Yeah, but they're doing crazy money.
They are. They are. They. You know, you can't take away their business acumen. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Guillermo's asking, why do you think Hispanic superstars like Legado de Fantasma and Lucha House Party are success, while superstars like Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo fail and are left in C shows like main events?
Okay. Well, you could blame some on the language, but I also believe that where you're gonna sign Spanish wrestlers is also. I always tell them. I remember back then when they were still young, Edge and Christian. Even back then, I was telling them, you know, you pay taxes, get some acting careers, get some coach. I was thinking like way ahead because you gotta be preparing, and that's what I tell the guys. The girl that I'm promoting now that Carissa has signed with WWE, she's taking English classes now, and besides all the stuff we're gonna do with the wrestling and all of that, I'm gonna be pushing for not just the English that she's taking. When I go and do the wrestling tapings that we do there, I'm gonna have time to actually work on promos with her in English now. Nice. So when AEW or WWE or any of these companies come around, she's already there. And you don't have to have a perfect language, but you gotta get to the fans. The fans could forgive the accent and all of that if you give them yourself. Yeah. The problem also is not the language. The problem now is with WWE especially, and I hope AEW don't go crazy with this, it's now they want to make the wrestlers actors. They want them to remember a whole script of promo. And that's, fans don't tune in to see actors or actresses. They tune in to be entertained with the best wrestling and the best storylines. And when you have to remember a whole, you know, like a movie, the lines and everything, what the heck are you doing? I think The Undertaker recently said to Drew, don't be an actor, be a wrestler. Yeah. The problem is that WWE, it's making them wrestlers. You got to remember all your lines, and then you don't see sincerity. You don't see them, their character coming to life because they're so concerned about not forgetting one line, because then, you know, just like a kid in school, you're going to be punished, or they're going to be happy with you. And that's not the way you made Stone Cold. That's not the way The Rock and the guys that were the Attitude Era and the craziness of an Edge and a Christian and the Hardys and the Dudleys. And that's why I'm happy that finally Paul Heyman is getting to talk recently in a segment Talking Smack, when he said like something like, we all revolved around Roman Reigns. He's our son. And then he touched like, you know, SmackDown. It's there because of Roman Reigns. And when he hit Raw, he said, have you seen Raw lately? You know, regardless of how it was said, it is just the truth. That was the brand that set up everything else. Yeah. And it's so sad when you see them talking, and if you just know them a little bit, you're going to realize immediately that's not their words. Yes, exactly. That's the writer's words. Because that's another thing. If you're going to make storylines for wrestlers to actually talk, you know, you better remember who you're giving the lines to. Yeah. Because if it doesn't match the person, the guy or the girl, the wrestler or whatever you're going to call it, then fans are going to see it. Our fans are too smart, and they just want to be entertained, and we're treating them like little kids, and they're getting upset about it. Yeah, very true.
Richie's asking, hi Hugo, thanks for doing SK Wrestling. Love Lucha Libre Online. Can you see them doing the Miz versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania?
I hope not. My page, Lucha Libre Online, has been the one that have dealt with everybody that said, no, he's a rapper, he's this and he's that. I said, you know, I'm not saying that you have to love his music, but you got to give him credit. They told him, don't do a whole record or a whole CD, whatever you want to call it right now, a whole production in Spanish. Don't do that. It's crazy. And he did it. And he hit #1 on Billboard. And he's his own brand. And this kid loves our business. He respects our business. He is already made. He's got the money. He's so popular. He could do movies. He could do anything he wants. He killed it in Saturday Night Live. But I think that that's not the right way. And I also thought that Damian Priest was not the right guy. The legit guy was Carlito Caribbean Cool, because he is already made. He was returning. His father is a WWE Hall of Fame legend, and he's like the #1 guy legend in Puerto Rico. So that way, it would be taking care of whoever hated the music or the singer or the rapper or whatever coming into WWE, and you would have somebody already know. Plus, the timing, 2 guys eating an apple and spitting on Morrison or Miss, it would have been more of, we want to go behind this. With Damian Priest, he has a future. He has a future, but I don't think his future is now. The company's thinking business, but it's making the same mistake they have made with Roman Reigns. Remember that push at the wrong time? Mm-hmm. Remember the stupidity with the briefcase, the Money in the Bank, with King Corbin, with Carmella, the stuff in the roof of the building. It just seems like success has gotten the company away from the roots of a family product into this monster of corporation of WWE. And right now it's like, even if it doesn't make sense, we're going to do it because we are WWE and we got to feed people with different things. Mm-hmm. And different things don't necessarily mean good things.
That's true. And sometimes success can breed laziness. And I think we're seeing that right now.
Our guys and girls are frustrated. If you just saw what they did 2 weeks in a row, you put 2 Latinos to fight there, Damian and Garza, and Garza should have a push, and now you get him destroyed 2 weeks in a row in 2 matches that really didn't make Priest look good because he's still green. And you put Bad Bunny next to him, you put more of the attention on him, and it's nervousness. He is not ready yet. He will be, but they're putting too much pressure on a precious talent because he is a precious talent. But at the moment, not that he could not have been involved with Carlito and Bad Bunny, all of that. Yes, that could have been the right solution. But I think putting him to win against Garza 2 weeks in a row, you have 300 talent signed, and you're going to give me Garza being squashed by him in matches that people did not really buy because they were busy making Priest look like a star, and unfortunately, he's not ready yet. And he overdid some moves. He looked shaky in some, and that was not good, especially now that we don't have an audience in the building. Like the eye of the fans are more on top of you, and you could see a lot of things that normally you would not really check, but now that's all you could see. There's no fans jumping. There's no signs on ringside. So that all has to be taken on consideration on the equation. But they believe that that's what they wanted to do, bury Garza for 2 weeks. And I came out and said it. And that's another thing. I am not afraid of the monster that is WWE. I pushed that thing that happened, that blood money in Arabia. I was probably the only guy that dared to say the truth. And I say, you cannot believe a country that murdered one of their citizens in a foreign embassy and tried to deny it. And I don't care if the king in that country says the sun is blue, no one is going to say the sun is red. And I just, that was my whole point. And then finally, you know what happened there? They had to settle out of court, 30-something millions. And then nobody talks about that. But I think that sometimes people forget that they might think Vince calls all the shots, but when you have stocks out, stocks will make you nervous. And the lawyers will make you do crazy things because people are pushing to see more dividends. And unfortunately, the quality of wrestling suffers, but the money's going up. So stockholders are happy.
So Carlito was originally supposed to be the person teaming with Bad Bunny?
No, I that was my appreciation. I said, if you're going to bring Carlito Caribbean back, and he's the bad boy, and he was like the original bad boy of the Latinos in WWE, and you have like a bad boy image of Bad Bunny. Look at the name, Bad Bunny and Carlito Caribbean Cool. guys with apples chewing on Morrison and spitting on them. It would have been fantastic. Plus, you have already the experience.
Yeah.
It's already made. And you have then in the background, WWE Hall of Famer, the father of Carlito Caribbean Cool, Carlos Colon, with the flag. And then you could have introduced a situation where Damian Priest could come and do a save in WrestleMania. Many things could be done, but your money shot was Carlito Caribbean Cool and Bad Bunny, because Carlito is already made, and he's recognized by not just the Latino fans or Puerto Rican fans, but everybody. Carlito is Carlito. I don't care how long you have him off TV. I produce my own shows all over Latin America and the United States, and he drew. And wherever he went, I watched my shows and see what's happening. And boy, that entrance, when he hits that music and he comes out, it reminds people of good times, of good storylines. And unfortunately, we don't have that right now.
It was a big, it was awesome surprise to see him in the Royal Rumble. Then we just saw him once on Raw teaming with Jeff Hardy, and that's it. So, I mean, why was there such a cutoff after Rumble?
Okay, I still believe, I had him on today, and he didn't talk about this. I said, are there still negotiations going on between you and WWE? And this superstar, Primo Colon, reminded me, he was the ring bearer, the ring boy at my wedding with my wife. So I've known him since he was a little kid. He looked at the screen and he didn't really answer. And I said, you know that you won the match on Raw with Jeff Hardy. And I was a creative. My first year in WWF, I was not an on-air talent. I was a producer and I was creative. Our team was just Pat Patterson, Bruce Pritchard, myself, and Vince McMahon. And back then, you could work 2 weeks on a storyline, and he would come and sit with us 7:30 in the morning, and then just go like this. Shh. No, they didn't like it. So there was so much put into storylines. Right now, sometimes they don't even care. They just rip the script, and they do it like 30 minutes before the show time. So I said to Carlito, they give you, or they give Jeff and you the win on Raw. That doesn't happen if there's a door that is still open on negotiation. So you might not be answering me right now, but I said to Carlito, I know, you're not telling me, I know that they are negotiating a deal for you. If they have approached you yet on this, I don't know, but I know my sources tell me, and this is official, that they are working on that. And then after what we're talking now, because we're news, and they check. One thing I gotta tell you, they monitor everything. They have people write. Then I'll write everything that we say. But the most important things about WWE, they'll get it. And what Carlito said today on my broadcast, they're gonna sit down. And he said he's ready. He feels like he's at the right point. I don't know if you've seen him, but he is put together. He's more mature. And I had a show a few months before this pandemic hit heavy in Orlando, Florida. And I had him booked against our main star of AAA, Psycho Clown. And there's not too many guys that could follow that rhythm, that speed, that adventure of flying and all of that. And for 22 minutes, Carlito went into the style of AAA. And brother, he went heavy. It was very good. I had Orlando Colon, his cousin, was there. Primo was there too. And they said, hey,
Orlando was Epico, right?
Yes, Epic, yeah. But they said Carlito's got it. And I just think this is the right time, because MVP is also like a good buddy with Carlito. And you got Billy Kidman behind the scenes too. So I think you got the right guys that what MVP is doing with the Hurt Business in front of the audience, but also what he brings of knowledge to the younger generation behind the scenes. And this is what Carlito could do. He could give you a story in the ring, but he could, just as MVP is doing, he could influence this younger generation, this Priest, these guys that they need leadership that doesn't come necessarily from the performance center, because that's another problem. It's just like Arena Mexico, Consejo Mundial. They have the best school, performance center. Wow, what a place they have. But it's also a robotic system. It's like one mirror. Everything is like the same. So you don't have different individualities. And that's what same thing with Consejo Mundial in Mexico. So you develop very good wrestlers, but it's like a mirror after a mirror. So guys like Carlito, MVP, could put that spice that made an MVP a different wrestler, that made Carlito a different wrestler. Just like The Undertaker said to Drew, stop being an actor, be a wrestler. And I think that's what Carlito could bring to the table, especially when you have the right click right now there. You have a Kidman behind the scenes, you have MVP. Oh, I'm just thinking of what could just happen in front of the cameras for the millions of viewers, but also the effect that they could have on the younger guys, you know, girls and guys, of having this passionate people that were there when every show meant something. You know, right now fans tell me I could stop watching Raw or SmackDown for a month and then I come back and I didn't miss anything because there's no episodic mind anymore.
That's right.
It's like they're watching the ratings. Oh my God, the ratings are low, and boom, they're changing stories, and Kevin Dunn is getting orders from Vince, or the phone is ringing. Wow, the ratings are low. So people are panicking. It's like a microwave era, and I don't work like that. I always been the same guy, respectful, but I would get up and tell Vince when I was not really happy with an idea, and if he said we're gonna do it, yes, we're gonna do it. But I will let him know. I have never been a yes man. I have been a respectful employee, a play-by-play guy, color guy, commentator, producer, but I've always been real. And I think the problem right now with the industry is, and I know some people are going to get upset with what I'm going to say, but there's a lot of people, you know, the famous suits and ties that are great in what they do with TV companies or Netflix or Hollywood, but they have no idea what wrestling is. They don't know the product. They don't know their fans. So how the heck can they know a talent or where that character should be or the persona if they don't know the product? And I think that what we're missing is we have great TV minds or writers and stuff in their world, but they're coming to our world and they don't know anything about our world.
Yeah. Elvis is asking, hola, Hugo, ¿cómo estás hoy, señor? How was it being a part of WrestleMania 20? And what was the energy like when Chris Benoit won the World Heavyweight Championship and hugged Eddie?
Wow, I will talk about it because I'm your guest and I'm always respectful. I make a rule of not talking about Benoit. He was a friend of mine for over 20 years. I know his wife when she was with the original Prince of Darkness, Kevin Sullivan. So I go back, way back. And he was a gentleman. But the moment that thing happened, I erased him from my life because I believe that in one weekend, he destroyed not just lives, but he destroyed respect for our industry.
Yeah, his legacy.
Yes. So the moment was beautiful. And you know why it was beautiful? Because at the moment, it was real. It was two guys that somebody like Eric Bishop would have said, you will never make me money. And they proved a lot of people wrong. And they also proved the fact that wrestling is so precious. And when Vince made him smile, that's all the crippler needed. Just a smile, because he wasn't good talking, but he could wrestle. And just when he gave that smile, and there was like my teeth, that gap there, that smile, that killing smile that lately so like my hair would just stand when I felt that smile when that tragedy happened. But it was so real, and fans knew that it was real. That was not like it's a scripted moment. That embrace was the reality of two guys that many people with power in the industry said that they were not main event talent. And boy, did they prove them wrong.
Very true. Yep. Read you as a close friend of Cain Velasquez. Can you see him return to WWE? How was the experience last time?
Yes, I just don't feel WWE did the right thing. Also, I believe that there was injury involved when he went to Saudi Arabia. But the true Cain Velasquez was the guy that Vince saw on Triple Mania. That's where Vince said, we've got to bring him over.
Mm-hmm.
Cain Velasquez could do so many things in wrestling. He loves it. And his little girl loves it. His wife loves the wrestling industry. And he respects what we do.
Mm-hmm.
There's no ego trips there. So you have options of Vasquez and Lesnar in the pro wrestling arena.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want to do something, we gave him like a mask, a Toro with Cain Velasquez. And I believe that persona just makes him like that superhero character that goes from Cain Velasquez into El Toro. And I believe that, of course, Vince could change the name and everything, or AEW, whatever. But I believe that there's many stories that could be written with Cain Velasquez because people respect reality. And he's for real. And he loves what we do. And he's so respectful. And when the fans, like I did, he did the AAA show in the theater and at the Garden, Madison Square Garden. And that whole week I spent with him. And the Triple Mania show, we also did the whole week of publicity. So you learn a lot about people when you spend times in the limos or in the green rooms waiting for the
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and just seeing the questions and the passion, the way that he wanted to know and he wanted to learn more about, the tradition and about our heroes of wrestling. And I think that we haven't even seen 20% of what Cain Velasquez, is capable of doing. And I believe that with the right storylines, brother, we could have some big matches with him, because you could either put her against another ex-UFC, you could go with Lesnar, you could go with a Lashley, you could create so many things there.
Yeah.
And people will believe it, because just like a Lesnar, I mean, you could hate him if you want, but Lesnar comes out, he will make a believer out of you, and he will kick your butt too. And people get upset because he gets paid good money. Good for him, But Cain Velasquez, well used, would be fantastic. If they don't sign him yet, I would love to have our boss in AAA and my creative boss, Conan, have him back. But this time, create like for us to fly him down to California and do like 5 or 6. I'm giving creative ideas without getting. My wife hated this, but just as I'm your guest, and just do like 5 or 6 crazy vignettes, and then just put them on our TVs. And if it works for WWE or for AEW, the hell with it. I would love to see this guy back in our industry, regardless if it's with AAA or Consejo Mundial or WWE or AEW or Impact. I don't care. I just want our guys and girls to be successful, and for our industry to have good times again, because we are going through coronavirus, and we cannot afford to have this lousy creative stuff that is going on. It's like, okay, sorry if I want to say it, it's like having diarrhea watching wrestling. It's horrible.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analogy.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. All right, let's do a couple more quick ones. We got about a minute and a half left, so let's do a little lightning round here. Let's start here. Most memorable moment in WWE.
Oh, I mean, seeing what Stone Cold could do, that Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, the sad one, Kansas City, Owen Hart,
yeah,
Undertaker throwing from the top of the Hell in a Cell to our table, seeing like the life go out of the lungs of mankind. Many moments.
Thoughts on Drew McIntyre losing the WWE title to The Miz?
I think it's going to do him good. I hated that they used their own time to give him that sword and the Scottish dress. There's no people. There's coronavirus. They're just building Drew. That was not the time. If you wanted to do it, you wait till 25,000 people are there in WrestleMania. There's a right time and there's a wrong time. When he stuck that sword down there, what the heck did that mean? You have to establish Drew first and do that.
I 100% agree with that. Right, was the right decision to have Edge come back and win the Rumble?
Yes, especially because the industry owes Edge to have at least 25,000 people watching him, because there's no guarantee that there will be Edge after that WrestleMania. Remember, I mean, his matches are very limited, and the doctor could say after that, hey, no more chances. And, he's got a family, and he's very happy what he's doing, but he has to be a family guy first.
Indeed. Thoughts on Dominic Mysterio and his potential in WWE? How different will his career be to his father's?
Big potential. I think Ray paid a heavy price. They have mistreated him really bad. They gave him a good contract now. But I believe that Vince made a bad mistake, a horrible mistake, by not letting the Mexican luchador storyline work. It had to be the enmascarado, the masked father, Rey Mysterio. Give him Dominic Mysterio the torch, the mask. And I'm going to tell you how I would do it, because they got to pay me for the storylines. But Mexico, just think on the right settings where this could have been taking place, with shots from above and all the other beautiful sceneries, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Most underutilized superstar in WWE today.
Wow. You have 300 to choose from, but I could mention Nakamura, Cesaro. And boy, I'm glad they're doing something with Sheldon, but that was also, I mean, you could go from just Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, you got an underdog there.
Yeah.
That people during those weeks, instead of doing that horrendous alcohol, drugs, and police, yet they could have done a real good story, and people would have supported the underdog's last run at the goal.
Yeah, I agree. Last question. How will you feel if you were ever inducted to the Hall of Fame? Who would you want to induct you?
Wow. It would be good if it happens. I believe that I already have my price, and that is Jesus Christ. The price, it's been costly, but now I minister to our guys and girls, and we have a lot of them of drugs, of depression, and that's what I do. And if that happens, it will, it's a tough one, because Carlitos Cabrera, La Voz, my play-by-play partner, has to be one. And then there's a tough one there, because there's like two other guys. But it will be, I know Carlos Cabrera will be one of them, and another two guys, but I can't mention it because I'll get a lot of heat.
Hugo, it's been a pleasure, man. You were very interactive. Lots of interaction today. Really, really appreciate all the fans supporting. Let the listeners know once again about what you have coming up the pike, man.
Yeah, Lucha Libre Online, and every Thursday night on Dominion TV network, the Christian network, Dominion. That's all over the world, but especially in the United States. English. I am one of the co-hosts, and I'm keeping it real with God. And Lucha Libre Online, that's where you find me. And my book is in Spanish in Amazon. Is Atangana Ring de Tentaciones. All the money of the book, I even pay for the cost of each book. All the money from the book goes to helping kids get out of gangs, out of the drugs, kids that are in prostitution. So I'm legit. I don't make money to just go on vacations. 20% of my money goes to that. I was a drug addict, alcoholic, unhappy. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. And God saved me 26 years ago in a jail in Connecticut. And I have a story to tell. And I tell it through my play-by-play adventures in wrestling. And a lot of people, they just see me and they know that I'm real.
Very nice, man. Thanks a lot, Hugo. It's been a great time chatting with you tonight.
Atangana, Rey Mysterio ataca. Ahí viene John Cena. Lo pasa en catapulta. La cuenta del árbitro. 1, 2, por poquito. That is passion in Spanish, my brother.
My man. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.